When did school board meetings turn into shouting matches with trustees accusing each other of lying, gaslighting, and Open Meeting Act violations? Workshops about procedures turning into brawls. It feels like something is shifting. Or is it? I'm Charles Blaine, and this is Texas Tomorrow. Amidst all the fighting that's happening in school districts across the state, no one's really asking, do parents actually grasp and know what school boards are doing? School boards that control billions of dollars, that hire superintendents, they set curriculum standards, they decide where new schools get built and why, which ones get closed and where. They approve budgets that determine whether your kid's school has enough teachers and pencils. They have some of the highest tax rates on our property tax bills. And yet many parents couldn't name a single trustee or what some of the opinions that they hold and they speak out about are in their meetings. We've turned school board meetings into theaters, and while that means that more people are watching, the actual governance, the budget votes, the contract approvals, the facility decisions, these things are happening while everyone's distracted by the loudest arguments in the room. Sometimes those loud arguments ring very hollow. So let's look at what's happening across the state in some of our school boards. In November 2025, voters came out and they ousted a number of school board members and brought in many others in some communities. So one, for instance, here in the Houston area said that voters elected her because they were tired of the hate and tired of culture war issues wrapped in terms like parental rights. Well, I didn't know that parental rights was a culture war issue. It seems just like something that we all had a good understanding of. School board workshops have previously turned into brawls with board members threatening to fight each other or report each other for violations such as using their employee district rented vehicle for their spouse while on a district trip. And in the state legislature, they passed a law requiring trustees to complete training on parental rights, probably because of that school board member that I just mentioned before, by April 2026. And the TEA has to create a handbook explaining every right parents have regarding their children's education. That law exists because trustees didn't know parents' rights, but they didn't know parents had rights. Think about that. Seems like we're not electing the best to these boards that oversee a lot of what goes into making the future of Texas. School districts in Texas are often the largest employers in their communities. HISD has a budget larger than some cities, and these aren't just advisory boards. They're governing bodies with real power and real long-term consequences if they don't do what's right. When meetings become toxic, good candidates stop running, which is something I think we've long seen, because who wants to volunteer for public abuse that is brought onto you by a few bad candidates or members? So that leaves seats open for people on every side of the aisle who really don't want to be there, but rather just want to use it as a stepping stone. Parents lose twice. They can't engage productively because meetings are chaos, and the trustees who remain aren't focused on what matters, student outcomes, teacher retention, budget accountability. They're focused on calling parental rights culture war issues and not knowing what parental rights are. Watch for the April 2026 deadline. TA has to publish parental rights handbook and trustees have to complete training. Will districts actually comply? Will it be meaningful training, or will they just check the box and go back to what they've been doing? Watch your local school board meetings, not just the fireworks, but the consent agenda, what they approve and don't discuss. That's where contracts get approved and money moves around. Ask who's actually paying attention to the boring stuff, because the boring stuff is really the meat and the potatoes of it all. And if you're frustrated, consider this. Trustee elections often have the lowest turnout of any race on the ballot. Your vote matters more here than almost anywhere else. And too many people are just using it as a stepping stone. So maybe if you care about your community and you don't want to go to higher office, this is a perfect place for you to devote some service. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Texas Tomorrow. Please like, share, comment. Let us know if there's something going on in your neighborhood that you'd like us to talk about.